Hi everyone. This is Building an Equitable Web. It's my talk about web accessibility and social justice. So, what you should expect from this talk is an overview of a few different types of barriers people have on the web, and also a overview of a few things you can do to try help tackle it. So yeah, I'm Ollie. I'm a software engineer at the FT. I'm non-binary, pronouns they them, and this talk includes animated GIFs in case that's a sensitivity for you. And of course, please tweet at me anytime you feel like it. So, of course, this talk is all about the internet. So, this is a GIF from the IT crowd, which is not a great show. Maybe don't watch it, but yeah, I thought it was funny, so I included that. And yeah, so the internet, it's very powerful, and the smartphones in particular have really widened access to the internet, so many people have more access to it. We carry powerful computers in our pockets like it's nothing. And a lot of people take it for granted, and I'm sure that most people take it for granted and don't think about like the people who don't have it and people who are struggling for access. It's made so many things easier, including accessing information, shopping, researching, like everything about our lives too much easier because of the internet. So with great power comes great responsibility, and this is the slide is from Spider-Man. So it's showing the first time that this slide line was said in Spider-Man comics, which I thought was quite cool. And yeah, so around the world, 40% of people can't access the internet. So more than 1 billion of these unconnected people live in Southern Asia, and a lot of them live in Africa, of course, as well. And about 870 million people have yet to come online in Africa. So yeah, just because you feel like everyone has access to the internet, it's very much not true. Even here in the UK, 1 in 5 disabled adults don't have access to the internet, and only 6% of those without disability don't use the internet. So you can see how much there is disparity: 6% compared to 20%. And the lower rates of internet usage might be because of people being older who have disabilities, but it's still, I would say, pretty egregious. And 5% of people using the internet who don't use the internet said it was because of disability that they don't use it. So one solution to this is to give offline options. At the FT, obviously, we're a newspaper, so we have the newspaper as an offline option, though it's not the only way we could transfer this information to people. And also we have an app which allows you to download articles offline. So 2 options for offline. And if you have any kind of utility, like if you're giving electricity, or if you're the government, of course, the government has paper options too, you should definitely give offline options. They are like, they're vital for some people. Like some people are just not able to access the internet on any devices, so always give an offline option. And then, of course, our next topic, which the internet would not be, anything about social justice on the internet wouldn't be complete without a slide about trolling. So, Diane Abbott, in case you didn't know, was the first black female MP in the UK, and she's received almost half of abusive tweets in the run up to the one before last general election. Excluding her, black and Asian women MPs in Westminster got 35% more abusive tweets than white women MPs. And the abuse directed to her amounted to 10 times as much as received by any other female MP, according to an Amnesty study. On this note of trolling, Mermaids is a charity that supports transgender children and their parents. Their CEO, Susie Green, is targeted with abuse and threats online. And the rise of abuse and threatening comments led them to having to block up to 20 accounts a day at one point. And there's lots of misinformation, outright lies spread by sites online about them and their work. Hopefully you can't hear that. So yeah, filtering LGBT content hurts the community. So the information support online is vital for LGBT people for escaping dangerous situations and accessing support to find community. In schools, words relating to LGBT topics such as bisexual are often blocked on the basis they may have sexual content, but this is rarely true. Kids are trying to access like life-saving information about safety and are blocked from getting it. On YouTube, words relating to LGBT issues are often demonetized, age-restricted, or removed for similar reasons. And so again, I just want to stress it's not always sexually explicit material people are trying to access. It's just things that they need, like charities or support groups, even those we block. And another similar but not similarly in the vein of people being blocked from access is that men are more likely to use the internet than women. So in the UK, the number of non-internet users is declining, but around 58% of them are women still. And there's disparity between men and women in digital skills too. So digital skills are things like being able to read an email or shop online. And of those who don't have any digital skills, 61% are women. And I don't know if you would have known this, but Wikipedia editors are overwhelmingly male, and male men. And in 2018, the Nobel Prize winner for physics, Donna Strickland, didn't have a Wikipedia page because she wasn't deemed important enough until a few months before that. And the vast majority of things written about Africa on Wikipedia are written by Europeans and Americans. And if you try and search on Google for things, local information to Belgium, Canada, and Australia, you're more likely to see things by people who are from there. But if you search in like Sierra Leone or Pakistan or Indonesia, almost all of the content is going to be from someone outside. And for another example, Wikipedia, there are like 70k Bengali Wikipedia articles, and there are 280 million speakers. On Dutch Wikipedia, there's nearly 2 million articles, and there's only 28 million speakers. So yeah, you can see the disparity there in the way that these things are edited and contributed to. So let me just see. Yeah, I think that's fine. So a solution to these is to listen to, hire, and collaborate with marginalized people. So make sure that at every stage of your journey in this, that you are talking to marginalized people, that you're hiring marginalized people, and that you're collaborating with them. That make sure that you are including them at every step of the journey, because they will see things like this in your processes. They'll see things like this in your output. They'll notice, and they'll be loud and vocal about it. Like, yeah, it's tiring to always be on the outside of these decisions. And try to center the voice of the most marginalized. So as you can tell already, if you are trans and black, and you also in somewhere in Africa, that you are going to be much more affected by the issues I've highlighted so far. So as far as possible, try and highlight your most marginalized user. So another question here is, what did Domino's and Beyonce Pizza have in common? And the thing they have in common is that they're both getting sued by the ADA. So the ADA is the American Disability Act. It contains provisions to force companies involved to change their website. So the problem with both of these was that the blind users couldn't access the internet couldn't access their sites to buy products. And you think that they would want to take their money, if anything, as they are customers rather than just users in this case. But yeah, they both fought it in court. I think Domino's lost, and Beyonce's suit is ongoing. But you think they'd want to take their money? And on the same note, banks often in the UK have had problems with this. That HSBC, Metrobank have had issues with blind and visually impaired users being able to access their services online. When HSBC was told it was made it difficult for blind users to access bank statements, they replied that they'll send them a video, which is obviously unfair and horrible. And the Equality Act means that people could sue as well, and they're stealing if you can't use your own money. So yeah, I love this quote because it just encapsulates this whole accessibility issue. Because yeah, people with disabilities are the original life hackers because our motivation is so high. If we don't hack, we often go about. MVDA is a screen reader that's available for free. That is created by blind people. I've met one of the founders at my old job, and he was really cool. And but one of the most popular screen readers is can cost up to $1,200. So you can see the disparity there. And even with this innovation coming from within the disabled community, there's so much other people can do. So I want to talk about WCAG errors. So WCAG is Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. And the kind of errors they will pick up is low contrast, missing alternative text, empty links, missing form labels, missing document language, and empty buttons. And as you can see, these are all, well, if you code, you can see that these are all quite simple errors. They're they're maybe hard at scale, but they are not difficult. If that makes sense. So yeah, it's just you have to try and as far as possible to contain these errors and to make sure that you include them in your sprints and stuff. So as I've already mentioned, if you imagine being at the intersection of all these different issues, it makes things worse. So the digital skills that I mentioned before are things like earning. You can earn more online. I mean, the benefits of having digital skills that I mentioned before. You can earn more. It's easier to get employed. It's easier to save money on shopping online. So like 30% cheaper on average if you shop online. You can communicate with people, and you communicate more frequently, at 14% more frequently if you're online. And you have a lot of time savings, about 30 minutes per interaction if you're accessing government services or banking online. So in 2016, it was estimated that in the next 10 to 20 years, 90% of jobs will require some sort of digital skills. And I think lots of people would agree that most jobs now still require some sort of digital skills, the ability to open an email or to use a computer at all, like for I'm trying to think of an online skill. For comparing something online, say. So people who earn more, over £46,000, are 47% more likely to have full base digital skills. And as your household income increases, so do the level of basic digital skills, even along all age groups. So if you're if you're younger, so if you're between 11 and 18 years old, in 2018, 12% of people of those ages didn't have a tablet or a computer, and it made it much harder for them to do their homework. And the proportion of people who are in poorer households who don't have internet access is double the UK average almost. So 22% compared to 12%. So digital exclusion is inclusion is increasing, of course, but some people still remain digitally excluded, including older people and disabled, as I've said. So imagine that you live at the intersection, as I said, of all these different things and how it would affect your life. So yeah. And I know lots of people will be saying, well, these edge cases, it doesn't matter. Like, people are edge cases. It's not a case of if you decide to let something as an edge case, that it's not going to affect anyone. You have to think you can't make it possible for everyone to be able to access every service. You can do as best you can, and you can think about the users that you actually want to be able to use your services and make conscious efforts to include as many people as possible. So one way to do this is test accessibility software. So there's things like Chrome Lens, and obviously using a screen reader yourself, using screen magnifiers and color inverting software. The Chrome Lens is the one that's on the screen, the logo there. And try navigating without a mouse. Of course, this is not a perfect analog for using things with actual disabled people and trying things with disabled users and having disabled developers on your team. But it's a start. And use semantic HTML. I won't go into this too much because this is a non-technical talk. But yes, try to don't use div when a button would do. Don't use etc. Like, try to use the more verbose. Verbose, is that what I mean? No. The more direct version, like nav or header or main. So yeah. And use automated tooling. They only captures about I think it was 30% of errors according to gov.uk. But it's good to have a start at least. And Lighthouse and Axel ones on screen there. So yeah, there's lots of automated testing solutions that you can plug into your code bases. And of course, you do use testing as much as possible. So try to test the users in your companies, of course, if you have any disabled users who are comfortable with that. But also try to recruit people. It's important to do this as much as possible, even in the early stages of like, especially I'd say in the early stages of building products, because it's easier to do accessibility from the front, if that makes sense. So try to include things as soon as possible in your processes. So on this, include it in your planning. So in your sprints and your roadmaps, make sure you have time for accessibility and improvements in mind. And at BBC, accessibility swarms are a thing where you not all, you don't have to all do it, but in your team, a large group of people all concentrate on checking accessibility in a new feature. So that was a really useful tool for making sure that things were not ignored. So yeah, I think we can rebuild the web. It's not as if we don't have the technology to do those things. We have so many options and things that we can do to make the web a better place and to make it more fair for many people. And there's things we can do when harassment and exclusion are happening. We do have the technology to do this. And you may be asking, like, oh, but I'm not a developer. What can I do? So you can help build diverse teams. So in your companies, you can help change hiring processes. If you get involved in things like we have a panel for helping with hiring at the FT. So there's many things you can do there. And you can help to try and make your internal dashboards for hiring, like the even the portal that you go into for to apply for a job. At many jobs I've had, this hasn't been accessible, so you can help on that. And obviously, you can advocate people in your workplace who are disabled and marginalised, or people who you want to become part of it. So yeah, like I said, internal admin tools are a big one. Also, hiring platforms, and there's like laws for public sector workers to try and pressure your workplace. But there's other helpful laws too, probably that yeah, I can talk about after. And of course, you can do basic checks once you know what to look for. So anyone can use a keyboard to try and, well, most people can use the keyboard to try and access a website and see how it is, so they can be involved in QA. And screen readers and other tools are available too to check things like cursory. But of course, this isn't a replacement for actual disabled people using your site. And captions are your friend, of course, on all sites. So if you're a user of a site, make sure you use captions on Instagram. Make sure you use them on Instagram. I think their captioning is not inbuilt, but you can put a caption in your description. Also, Twitter has recently added them, and I think we, of course, caption on at the FT with our pictures and stuff. And yeah, as far as possible, caption things. So automatic YouTube captions are another one. And there's services that have automatic captioning like Rev, and then not everyone is as fancy to have a a stenographer, of course, on site, but I think it is important to have captions as far as possible. And yeah, so of course you can also help with making the internet a safer place by making it more diverse. So if you have knowledge that you think should be shared on the internet, on places like Wikipedia, there are different organizations you can get involved with. There are different hackathons that are like literally just focused on editing Wikipedia and stuff like that. So try to share your knowledge and try to encourage people who are more marginalised than you to also share theirs. And one last thing, the original name of this talk was Building the Woke Web, which is like, I'm sort of out of my lane in that one because I am not African American. And it shows me that wokeness isn't an endpoint. Like all the things we talked about, these aren't endpoints. These are just the beginnings of a journey. And it's not like wokeness isn't a switch you flip on and off. It's like a constant learning process. So as Derek Featherstone says, accessibility is a process, inclusive design is the goal. So try to make sure that you include all these things from day one and that they are important to you in the whole process. And yeah, thank you for listening.